Dhixit and the Docks. 1. The Blue Planet. July 14th, 2073. Mommy, can I see a picture of the planet we're going to again? Silas said while tapping Tenna on the shoulder. Again? What do you have, short-term memory loss or something? Dhixit said, annoyed as if he had heard the same sentence every day for the past 3 months. Hey, be nice to him. He's excited. I'm sure if you were still his age, you'd be just as eager to see it, Tenna said in defense. Yeah, right. Dhixit looked back at his phone. Can I see it? You know what? Let me show you something. Tenna stood up from her chair and walked over to the window. We were lucky enough to get a front room. Do you know what that means, Silas? She sat down at the desk and put her eye to the lens of a miniature telescope. No, he replied. That means whatever we're headed towards, we can see it get closer. And when we look through the telescope, she got up to let Silas take a look. He stopped and looked around for just a second. There it was. Oh my gosh, that's Earth, he exclaimed. Tenna gave a chuckle. Earth, Silas, Earth, she corrected as the blue planet loomed beyond. Silas pulled back in awe. The cafeteria will be open in 5 minutes. Our lunch will be... Silas looked down with his eyes closed and crossed his fingers while the lady listed the items. Please be shokshil. Please be shokshil. Soup, salad, chicken wings, and... The 2-second pause lasted an eternity to Silas. Jojel. Yes. I know that's a ship favorite. Thank you all for filling out that survey. The Traveler has got some Jojel fans. Who? Silas jumped for joy. If you really like it so much, just wait 2 weeks, said Dhixit. What do you mean, Dhixit? Silas asked. There's a list of meals, and I don't want to burst your bubble, but they have the same meal every other week, Dhixit said, bursting Silas's bubble. Mom, is that true? He looked at Tenna. Dhixit, how do you know that? It says it on their website. All right, why don't you go on? Ahead of us. Okay. Dhixit opened the door and stepped outside. The lower temperature of Corridor A filled his lungs with now 55-degree air. Thank God the rooms have separate thermostats. The door numbers, each number increasing as he shivered through the hall. God, why is it always so damn cold in the hallways? To keep us out, said a deep voice behind him. Dhixit flinched, looked behind him, and was met with an empty corridor, just as it was before. There was a cracking sound, like the popping of knuckles. He could make out what looked to be a giant stinger, that of a scorpion, coming out of a dark room. It pulled back, and the door slammed shut. The thing chuckled. No spoilers, it said with a now British accent. Dhixit stood there in question. Someone rounded the corner. It was Tenna and Silas. Oh, I thought you'd be at the cafeteria eating with your friends by now, Tenna said, surprised. My friends are on a different ship heading to Borealis. You know, where I wanted to go. Dhixit crossed his arms. Honey, you know the ship was already off the planet by the time we got to the boarding station. And besides, your Uncle Zeno moved to Earth and said it was great. You'll love it there. Dhixit rolled his eyes and said, You willing to bet on that? Well, maybe you'll just like it. That's what I thought. Well, besides all that, let's get to the cafeteria before the line gets too long. Don't want to get stuck in the back now, do we? 2. Cutter. Despite their attempts to reach the lunchroom before everyone else when they got there, it was at full capacity and couldn't accept more people. They had to go back into the frigid halls, wrap around, and go to the 3rd floor. Why are the elevators so far away from the cafeteria? Asked Dhixit, annoyed. I don't know, but the cold is killing me, replied Silas. They eventually made it and stepped in. Somehow, some way, they made it even colder in there. It's gotta be at most 30 degrees in here. Gosh, what is their problem? Dhixit said, growing more irritated. I'd tell you why, but Silas is here with us, Tenna said, shivering to death. Just then, the door opened with a bing-bong, the contrast of temperature now for the better, as they felt the 5-degree warmer air. They opened the cafeteria door that concealed an even bigger difference in warmth from 55 degrees to 75 degrees. While in line, Silas was getting a little impatient. Nothing too crazy but noticeable. and right before they got to the serving counter, someone stepped in front of Silas. Excuse me, you just cut the line?" said Dhixit, defending his brother. No, I didn't. I earned my spot," said the guy. "What do you mean you earned it? I earned my spot, he earned his spot, and you just cut back of the line where normal people start. Let me think about it." "No! Get out. He's right, dude. Swallow your pride," someone behind Dhixit said. "Fine. Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you," Silas said, though barely audible. Before they got in line, Tenna reminded him to get a whole serving of salad. He, in fact, did not get a whole serving of salad. The two sat down. Somehow, Tenna had gotten her food before them. "Can we get a drink?" Silas asked. You can, but both of you, don't refill it if you're getting soda. Right, Dhixit?" Dhixit stood straight like a soldier and in the most monotone voice said, "Yes, Mother, I will be responsible in the choice of drink for both me and my younger sibling, respectively. We will not get the refilling of a cup of carbonated water, sucrose, caramel color, phosphoric acid, natural flavors, and 34 milligrams of caffeine per 12 ounces. You have my word." Dhixit looked at Silas and winked. Okay, if you say so." Tenna narrowed her eyes suspiciously. Her suspicion faded when they were about to leave. The two did, in fact, go for refills right before they left. 3. Welcome to Earth, friends. August 4th, 2073. It was around 3:43 in the morning when the intercom lady spoke, waking all passengers up. For some reason, she sounded even louder this time. "Attention all passengers, pack your things. We are approaching Earth." "What?" Dhixit groaned. "What's going on?" Silas mumbled. "Guys, come here. I think you might want to see this." Dhixit stumbled out of his bed, and Silas practically fell off the top bunk. "What is it?" said Dhixit just before being met with a bright blue light coming from the window. "Whoa," they both said in awe. "Earth." It was close enough to see that it wasn't just a blue sphere. There was green and white and a tannish yellow and gray. "I repeat, all passengers, pack your things. We are approaching Earth. Be prepared to answer questions and change a few things at the landing dock. Earth has different rules we have to abide by." Tenna turned to Dhixit and Silas and said, "All right, you heard the lady. Start packing up. One of the changes we will have to make is to our circadian rhythm." "What's that?" asked Silas. Your internal body clock. I thought that was obvious." Dhixit crossed his arms. "It doesn't matter if it's obvious. Pack up your stuff. Chop, chop." While in line for interviewing, Silas was getting nervous, and it showed. Tenna noticed this. "What's wrong, honey?" she asked with concern. "What if they don't like us?" he said shyly. "What if they don't like me?" "Oh, Silas, if they didn't like us, they wouldn't have arranged a way for us to live on their planet. Also," he added, "what is it? I'm your mom, you can tell me. What are they gonna ask me? What are they gonna do? Nothing you don't know the answer to, and most of it is laws that they are telling you." "There are very few questions," said Tenna, reassuring him. Silas was relieved and felt more confident. "And remember, Mommy's right behind you," she reminded. It was now Dhixit's turn for interviewing. He sat through it mostly just noting the main things. However, a few things really perked his ears, such as, "Do you own any weapons? Why are your bones showing? Why are they blue? Does your species carry a disease we should know about? And you should put this on." "What?" he said, shocked. "Yeah, apparently being quote-unquote naked is rude, embarrassing, and like super illegal. So," she pulled out some plain white shirt, underwear, and shorts. "You're gonna have to wear this." "Oh, that's why your skin is so loose." "It's not skin. I was about to say something. It was really bothering me. You can get some different ones that you like when you're down there, but this will hold you off for a while." "That's nice to know. And the last question, do you have any money that you'd wish to convert?" "I do in fact have some." "What does 50 zykles convert to?" He handed the 50 zykles to her. She handed back 25 USD. "And this is?" 25 United States dollars. "Okay, United States dollars, huh? Looks like we're all done here. So just put those on and you're good to go in there. Dixit got dressed and walked into a small room. She gave him a slice of lemon. Here, suck on this. She bent down and tied a cord to his ankle. What's that for? Don't worry about it. Why am I sucking on a lemon? She stood straight and smiled. To distract you from the fall, silly. Fall? Don't panic. Before Dixit could process that, she had pressed a button that opened the floor from beneath him. He was sent falling about 350 feet before the bungee cord bounced him up and down. Most would be scared, but Dhixit was fascinated by the sensation of the wind. Eventually, he stopped and some humans let him off onto a trampoline. He got up with difficulty. He regained balance and was now aware of his surroundings. It looked like 100 people standing, watching the Zayoldas arrive one by one. The crowd, though mostly humans, had a couple of Zayoldes and even a few Lazats that lived on Australis before the infestation. Okay, I'm gonna need you to step off, said the man. He jumped off and onto the grass below and waited for Silas and Tenna to follow. He looked to his right to find a staircase or scaffolding. What's that? Oh, that's a stairway for the elderly. Why don't all of us go down the stairs? Why did we have to free fall? It was cheaper to set up only one. He looked up. The big white ball in the sky hurt his eyes. You humans are really making a great first impression, he said sarcastically. 4. A few adjustments. August 7th, 2073. Dhixit, Silas, and Tenna had moved into a home. The first objective is for Tenna to find a job and the boys to enroll in a school. And it came to pass when the first day of school for the boys and work for Tenna came. Good morning, class, said Coach Owens. Good morning, Coach Owens, everyone said simultaneously. Today we have a very special guest who will be joining us. He beckoned Dhixit in. This is Dhixit, our new extraterrestrial exchange student. He looked at Dhixit. Say hi, Dhixit. Hi. He gave a little wave. Hi, Dhixit. Coach gave him a book and gestured toward the desks. Here, pick a seat. We're about to start. Dhixit sat down and instantaneously started quite literally judging a book by its cover. Sue, where you from? Australis. Well, I know that, silly. What faction? Dhixit gave a quick side-eye. Oh, A4. That's great. I remember people from A4. His eye detached and started to wander, and he started drooling. How do you remember A4 if you're a human? Dhixit questioned. The guy wiped the drool off. Maybe I don't, or do I? He looked off to the left and up, smiled, and put his finger to his chin. His eye drifted again. What have you been smoking? Nothing. I was just... He turned his head to face Dhixit, but his eyes were still not focused, thinking about Zayoldas. He started drooling again. Then Dhixit saw it, just beneath his skin, another face. Its eyes were enormous with dilated pupils, and a wide, teeth-filled grin at a very sharp angle. Somehow, somewhere, Dhixit had seen this face before. It was not new. He thought back to last month when he encountered something in the halls. The stinger, the face, and the odd behavior of this human. Something started to click. However, he was still in class. Okay, class. We are going to lay out some of the ground rules that we will follow until the end of the second semester, aka the end of the year. Oh boy. Dhixit stepped off the bus, walked over, and entered. He was greeted by Tenna, who was making dinner from the things that the humans gave them. Welcome back, she said. Hey, Mom. Dhixit, exhausted, plopped himself onto the couch. How was school? It was good. PE was brutal, though. Oh, was it? You should take a shower to help you cool off. You're probably right. Any luck finding a job? Yes, actually. Thank you for asking. I work at a daycare now. Cool. By the way, what did they give us to eat? Oh, just the bare minimum. There are 300,000 of us anyway. I think they called it steak. I don't know. I'm just following the instructions. Okay, he said, beginning to wonder what it would taste like. All of a sudden, Silas burst through the door. I'm home, he shouted. Dhixit lifted up his head. I can see that. 5. Not funny. August 9th, 2073. Good morning, everybody, said Mr. Guidry. Morning, Mr. Guidry. How are we all doing today? Good. Good? Well, that's good. Today we are just going to do a simple worksheet which should take you about 15 minutes. And for the rest of the period, you can get on the computers and play games. But first, I'm going to do roll calling. The class started talking. Ivan. Here. Sarah. I think she's absent. Dhixit. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Who's that? Someone asked. I'm the guy you said hi to yesterday. Rather interesting name you got there, huh? I was named after my, now, late father. Oh, what happened to him? Dhixit glanced around the room. He got killed by a dox when I was 7. Dhixit heard someone starting to crack up. When Dhixit was 7, his dad went into a room with someone for a reason he couldn't remember. Dhixit pleaded for his dad to not go into the room, as he had seen something in the man. Nobody believed him. Just before the door closed behind him, the face underneath the man's skin gave a wink. A wink that still haunts Dhixit. Sure enough, they got a call saying that their dad was killed by the dox. And what may that be? Dhixit sighed, not wanting to explain. It's an immortal creature that hunts and kills anything humanoid. Nobody knows what they look like, even though I swear I saw one. Nobody knows how or why they do what they do. But trust me, they're real. That is, not what I was expecting. I'm sorry for your loss. He continued calling names. However, Dhixit couldn't help but notice that the weird guy from yesterday was notably absent. Then he thought about what he told the teacher about doxes. The theorizing was short-lived. Aw, do you miss your daddy? Dhixit glanced over. It was Bruce. From day one, Dhixit could tell he would take some tolerance to deal with. Did he go get the milk and never come back? Newsflash, that's not funny. Is little Dixie a daddy's boy? He said mockingly. Shut up, Bruce. He started to raise his voice. Is your mommy gone too? I said, shut up. Dhixit stood up. Aw, does the whittle alien think he's big and strong? Dhixit raised his fist and faked a punch. Bruce flinched. Whoa, chill, it's just a joke, he said. Dude, chill out. He was just playing around, someone said. Dhixit turned to look at them. If you don't stop using your vocal cords, I'm going to use mine in a way you can't even fathom. Geez, I understand your anger, but... Dhixit snapped back and screamed so loud that he used something he shouldn't have. You don't understand my anger.
I understand your anger, but if you did, you wouldn't be killing him so soon.
The room fell silent. His pupils dilated, then opened really big. Dhixit's marks, eyes, and mouth went from light blue to a red TV static. He had used the static voice, a deafening ability given to a Zeolda when overwhelmed by emotion. As the name may suggest, the static voice sounds like a loud crackling static that speaks words. Then came the after static or post-static. It sounds robotic, monotone, and much quieter than the normal static. If you did, you wouldn't be such a bastard. Now you are deaf. The only thing you can hear is my post-static voice. Don't worry, it wears off in a couple of hours. What's wrong with his eyes? What did you do? Said Mr. Guidry. Nothing, he's fine, Dhixit said. The only person who can hear the static voice is the person it's directed to. Everyone else hears a normal scream. However, the post-static can be heard by all people around. What happened to your voice? Just a little hoarse. Little? You sound terrible. I'm fine, he's fine. We're all fine. Right, people? Sure, someone said. A ringing sound blurted through the school. Well, there's the bell. Time to go to lunch, bye. He was the first one out of the classroom. When Dhixit stepped into the cafeteria, he was greeted by the lunch ladies. Lucky you. You're first in line. Yeah, I've dealt with lines before. He quickly grabbed the side items, put in his lunch number, and sat down at a table. A little time after, a liminal Lizat came up to him. Dhixit recognized him from the crowd. Hello there, Dhixit, he said. I know you know my name, but I don't know yours. Oh, excuse me. Where are my manners? I am Chromosonius Xavier Courtnit III. However, I do realize that is a mouthful of a name, so you can call me Chromos. Yeah, I think I will do that. Anyways, The reason I came over here is because you said something that really perked my ears. About the docks and your father. I think I can help you bring him back. Excuse me. Meet me in the library during free flow. I'll explain there, where it's quieter. What's free flow? They do it every Wednesday, which is today, in replace of fifth period. You can go wherever you want for about an hour. Citra, what's on Earth. Dhixit opened the double door to the library. The place reeked of paper and silence and knowledge. It took some seeking out to find Chromos, but he was found in a little sanctioned off area by some bookshelves with a little desk inside. There you are. Why did you have to hide in this little corner? Well, it's a very sensitive topic, isn't it? I guess. So you said you swore you saw a dox, right? Right. I've been reading. There are written records and depictions of the supposed doxes. However, the people who claimed to see them were all rendered insane. I'm following, Dhixit said, intrigued. He leaned forward. I don't know why they were called that, but it was found out that they actually had something else. I suspect that you have the same thing. Now I'm really interested. Dhixit, you are the chosen one. He cracked up. Okay, sorry, I couldn't resist. Dhixit, you have the ability to see beyond. Sorry, I just can't. You have what is called dilate sight, a rare genetic mutation that allows you to see a dox when it is mimicking someone. The chances of you having it are 0.0000031%. So you're saying I'm special? One could put it like that. Dhixit, I'm going to show you the depictions, and you're going to tell me which one it is. He slid a few pieces of paper over to him. They all looked relatively the same, sharing some key details, but only one got the face right. Dhixit felt a shiver course through his body. This one. It's this one. Chromos leaned forward with his hands on his forehead. Dhixit, he said without looking up. It's on Earth. What? I said it's on Earth. How do you know? I saw the exact same face peering at me through a door window, back on the Traveler. I thought I was going crazy. Despite our defenses, I think it might have slipped onto the ship and is now roaming Earth. I had a weird experience back on that ship too. I was alone, or so I thought, and I asked a question to myself about the temperature, obviously not expecting an answer. But I heard a deep voice respond saying, to keep us out. That's why it was so cold. Doxes hate the cold. It freezes their joints, making them crackle and pop even when mimicking someone, making them easy to spot. Wait, they mimic people? You said you were from A4, right? Yes. A4 people know a lot less about doxes than our society as a whole. Anyway, I did hear a lot of crackling. This is not good. We have to exterminate this thing before it multiplies and infests Earth too. What? Kill this thing? Dhixit pointed to the picture on the desk. Why not tell someone higher up? Earth has a military. One, there's only one. Two, if we tell anyone, it will start a panic, and we will be shipped off to a different planet. Trust me, you do want Earth. Fine. So what do we do then? Well, you do know that cold temperatures freeze the joints. The Traveler just had 55-degree air. Okay? What about negative 321-degree liquid? Which is liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen? Where the hell do you plan on getting that? Don't worry about it. Okay, I won't. So what's the rest of the plan? You try to find the dox, and I'll follow you around with the gas can everywhere you go. And when you find it, I'll run in with my metaphorical guns blazing. How are you gonna follow me around without looking weird? How are photons passing through me, showing you the objects behind me, and not reflecting off of me? He turned invisible. How can you do that? Dhixit asked. Chromos fake coughed as he said, invisibility powers. Oh yeah, you Lysits are born with 2 powers for some god knows what reason. 7. What's wrong with him? August 10th, 2073. Dhixit had noticed some weird changes in Silas's behavior. It was never anything too out of the ordinary. However, it was very obvious that something had changed. First, he gained a mild British accent. Then he stopped so overly joyful about ordinary things. He referred to Tenna as mother instead of mom or mommy. However, these paled in comparison to the strangest thing he witnessed. August 12th, 2073. Dhixit was watching Silas at the park. Everything was going smoothly until Silas's bully, so to speak, came up. "Wrong place at the wrong time, eh, E.T.?" he said with a devious grin. "Why is that, Braden?" He turned his head slowly toward him, with a soft smile on his face. "You look a little hungry." "Do I?" "Yes, you do. Do you want a sandwich?" "Maybe I do. Maybe I don't." "A knuckle sandwich." He lifted his fist and punched him square in the face, causing him to bleed. However, instead of reacting like one normally would, he did something different. "Was that supposed to hurt, Braden?" He wiped the blood with his hand, put it to his mouth, and licked it clean. "Tastes good. You should try it." He wiped more off and tried to get him to taste it. Braden, obviously disgusted, backed away and left. Silas continued playing as normal. "Chromos, did you see that?" "See what?" "What Silas did." "Who's that?" "My little brother. That I'm watching." "Oh yes. What did he do?" "He wiped the blood off his face and licked it. That's not normal." "Well, no shit, Sherlock. What's wrong with him?" "How am I supposed to know?" "You gotta ask him when it comes up naturally. If he is what I fear, he may suspect that we suspect." "What are you saying?" "You know what? Be wary of your brother, Dhixit." "I don't understand, but okay." August 14, 2073. It was soon clear to Dhixit that he had almost no privacy. He knew his every move was being observed by Chromos, who was somehow still invisible. He never knew he was this good at pretending he wasn't there. It was almost as if he had done this before. However, Dhixit knew he was actually there, because every time he called out to him, he got a shh in response. It did not take long for Dhixit to break, and finally confront Chromos. "Okay, this is not working, Chromos." "Shh. No, I'm serious. We haven't seen anything. All this has done is deprive me of privacy." For the first time in days, Dhixit and everyone around them could see Chromos. "Okay, you're right. We need a new plan." "What other plan do we have?" "Well, there is a thing called a dox kit, where you can detect and even lure them." "Why wasn't that the first plan?" "It costs $2,500 or so." "Oh, is there any other option?" "No." Dhixit reached into his pockets and pulled them inside out. "I got nothing," Dhixit said. Chromos gave a large sigh. "There go my savings. I'll get it then. However, it takes a long time to ship." "How long?" he asked. Chromos's voice grew quieter as he spoke. A month maybe." "A month? Do we even have a month? That thing is gonna spread like wildfire." "I know it, but all we can do is wait. There is no option." "Fine. But if we have to flee the planet again, but this time with the humans, I don't even know." "You're right. It's here. September 15th, 2073. The day couldn't come slower. The weeks passed feeling normal, but stretching out longer and longer. It was almost as if Dhixit was watching time dilate in front of him. Until one day, Chromos came knocking on Dhixit's door, holding a large, heavy-looking box. "Hello," Tenna said, opening the door. "Hello. You must be Mrs. Darius." "Is Dhixit home?" said Chromos. "Yes, stay here while I get him." "Of course. Dhixit, one of your friends is here," she said as she climbed the stairs. "Got it." Tenna came down the stairs along with Dhixit. "Oh, what are you doing here, Chromos?" he said just before he noticed the box in his arms. "It's here." "What's here?" asked Tenna. "Supplies for a party tonight," said Dhixit. "You have to bring supplies?" "Yeah, everyone is contributing some supplies," Chromos said, playing along. "Okay, if that's what that is. Can he come in so we can go up to my room?" "Yes, of course. Thank you, Mrs. Darius," he said as they went upstairs. "You're welcome. Can I go?" asked Silas. "I'll ask them if you can go when they come down." "Okay." Meanwhile, upstairs. "Are you crazy? Why would you bring it here?" "I have nowhere else to go." "Okay, let's just open it up." Dhixit took his pocket knife, cut the tape, and unfolded the box. Chromos held the box down as Dhixit pulled the object out. He immediately saw some text that read, "Aqueous humor gas, and subscrite detector, and N2 danger refrigerated liquid." What is all this? Dox bait, dox detector, liquid nitrogen, and a bunch of lights. You just ordered the N2 online? Yeah. What was there to worry about? It doesn't matter now. Also, the thing says subscribe detector, not dox detector. In the pictures I showed you the other day, they had a glowing blue crystal heart. There is only one blue crystal that glows. Subscribe detector equals dox detector. So what's the final plan? We take this stuff to the quote-unquote party, which is an abandoned building I found. Use the dox detector, and when it comes to the building, we give it all we've got. Why an abandoned building? Are you sure it will attract anything? Trust me, the gas they have is pungent, to say the least. If the dox is still in the area, it will notice. That's our plan. Now we wait until the appropriate time to head out to a party. The two played video games and rewatched old trailers of GTA 6, as it had still not released yet, in 9. Party time. It was around 8:30 that the two decided to head out. All right, we're leaving now, Dhixit said. Oh, okay. By the way, can you bring Silas with you? He was asking if he could go with you too. Sure, I guess, Dhixit said. On the drive there, Dhixit explained to Silas what was really going on. Okay, Silas, we're not actually going to a party. We're going to a remote place and hang out. Okay. Okay. I'll buy you McDonald's on the way back if you don't tell or complain. Deal, said Silas. They would in fact not be buying McDonald's, and not the reason you expect. The three pulled into the parking lot of the building. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza? Isn't that fictional? Someone made a replica of it about 30 years ago, or something. They walked up to the glass front door. Chromos picked up a sledgehammer. See this? A sledgehammer. Now what we're gonna do is throw it away. He threw it behind him. And we're gonna pull this out of our pocket and pick the lock to avoid a noise complaint. He stuck the needles in the lock and worked his magic. The door opened with a click. Chromos took a rock and used it as a door stopper. Voila, said Chromos. The darkness sent a shiver down Silas's spine. Okay, I have a lantern, a flashlight, and a spotlight. I want the flashlight, said Silas eagerly. We will only use them for a short time because there is a generator out the back that will power the whole building. Okay, said Silas as he started exploring. Dhixit, you can bring the stuff in. I'm on it. Dhixit opened the trunk of the car and pulled out the big box and set it on the ground. He put the lantern on the box and carried it inside, where Silas had the great idea of shining the light on the white ceiling for more light. The darkness, however, was short-lived because the generator kicked on, and all lights flashed brightly. Soon, Chromos came inside. Well, this is fun, said Chromos as he closed the door behind him. Why don't you go on and play on one of the arcades or explore the place? Dhixit bent down to meet Silas's eye level. Okay. Silas walked over and immediately started playing. Let's use the gas, said Chromos as he pulled out the can. It says it's very tightly packed, so it will spread over an extremely large area. We just got to set it outside and let it work its magic. You can do that. I'll go look around. Will do. Dhixit went to explore the place and ended up finding the office with working doors and cameras. He looked through the camera using the monitor on the desk. Hey, Silas, I can see you, he shouted, but with no response. He soon came to the main area once again. He sat down at the table as Chromos walked in, covering his nose. Let's hope this works. I paid good money for it, he said. The two began talking for about 20 minutes, and Silas went exploring, until something happened. The lights flickered and then shut off after about 3 seconds. Luckily, all three had their lights on them. That must be the generator. I better go restart it, Chromos said when he stood up from the table. Dhixit and Silas were soon left alone. Dhixit, said Silas, I want to show you something. Sure. What is it? Follow me. Dhixit proceeded to follow Silas into what looked like a kitchen. What did you find? There was a long, eerie pause. I found something extraordinary, he said, now in a full British accent. There was no hiding it. What is it? You know, Dhixit, sometimes bad things happen to good people. Oh, wait, did you think I was talking about you? What are you talking about? Your brother is a good one. Something bad will happen to you, no matter how good you are. Huh? I found a dox. He immediately brought his hand to his throat and ripped out his larynx with his eyeballs somehow attached and dangling. He dropped the organs and then started morphing. Every bone crackled and popped, flesh tore, and blood spilled. Dhixit watched in horror as what he once knew as his little brother turned into a massive dox. His scorpion stinger, his face, his crystal heart, his ribs, his large wings, and his claws. Not to mention his size and height. What? Oh, you poor Zeolda. You must be so confused, the dox said in the same deep voice he heard back on the traveler. A dox? He said, his voice shaking. I have a name, you know. I'm not an animal. Yes. I go by Ceruleus, and you must be Dhixit Darius. 10. Dox. Good ending. Let's get this over with. Ceruleus swung his giant stinger around the side and jabbed Dhixit right in the kidney. It must have been a neurotoxin because Dhixit fell to the ground mostly paralyzed. Ceruleus got on all fours, his legs bending backward, and crawled closer. Sorry, not sorry, Dhixit. It was never anything personal, really, he said. Suddenly the lights snapped on, and Chromos came running in, metaphorical guns blazing. Tonight, we're having pizza with some frozen dox on the side. He released the liquid nitrogen onto Ceruleus's bony arm. He shrieked and fell back, unable to move his hand. Chromos formed an energy chain whip as his second power. It wrapped around his arm, and when Chromos yanked, his arm and hand broke off into small frozen pieces. He shrieked again, this time even louder. You stupid lizards, and your god-awful saliva. You know I'm not the only one. You will not stop the cleanse by killing me. Chromos continued to release the rest of the nitrogen until he was solid. One more whip, and he crumbled. Dhixit, he said as he knelt beside him. He rolled him onto his stomach. This might sound weird, but I'm going to spit in the wound. Our saliva neutralizes the doxin. Nice pun, he struggled to say. It's not a pun. That's actually what dox venom is called, he said as Dhixit blacked out. The next thing he would see is a nurse rolling him into a room saying, It's all going to be okay. Your lizard buddy saved your life. A news article read, Earth was saved by a young lizard and Zeolda, aged 17 and 21. Their names are Dhixit and Chromos. The lizard and Zeolda will be held for interviewing when the Zeolda recovers from injuries sustained by a dox. If it wasn't killed by these two brave people, Earth would have been doomed. Meanwhile, the mother of the Zeolda, Tenadarius, mourns the loss of their youngest son, Silas. Dhixit and the Dox by Sidby0i, Dino